Do you know why the AAF is going to be more successful than the XFL?
Why is that?
Because the XFL only has one city that's not in an NFL city.
I do think that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
There's only one. Do you know where I looked them up right now because we haven't done the research for this. There's a Tampa team, dude.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, Tampa.
That's what I do not. That's why I got in the
That's
XFL.
why you planted the flag.
Yeah. Well, that's why Orlando's my favorite team because they're the closest to having a Tampa Bay team. I think I got it. I think I know them. It's Dallas, Tampa, LA.
StubHub Center in LA.
Okay, I can only think of 3 off the top of my head. Wait. I'm trying to think of all
think of what I just said. Okay, so there's seven cities that have an XFL team that have an NFL team.
Right. So Dallas, Tampa, LA.
Atlanta.
No,
amazingly not Atlanta.
Amazingly,
Atlanta.
the hotbed of
Football.
sports fandom.
No, yeah.
Any sport,
If you
yeah.
ever want to learn how to choke away a football game, play for a Georgia
That's
team.
probably the only professional sport they don't have in Atlanta.
If you want to learn how to lose a fan base, like just lose in Atlanta, and look at what the Hawks have done. Like the Hawks should be easily one of the most popular NBA teams nationally, but they can't get any real identity, and they keep changing their logo and jerseys, and there's nothing to hang their hat on.
Because the other bird team, the Falcons, kind of ate it all up. But Why
do they need the birds?
I have no idea. Keep naming off the cities.
Seattle as well. Yeah,
It's a lot more spread out in the XFL than the AAF.
I'm wondering if that's a weather decision.
there probably are, but New
Because
York
playing in February like that with snow and everything, I think that's why they went more south.
the New York team is playing in MetLife Stadium. So they're playing in an NFL stadium. Same with Seattle's playing at CenturyLink Field, but in Houston,
Yeah, I was thinking Houston.
you got Houston and a Dallas team. So they're trying to bet on a Texas rivalry, spring football. That could take root. Maybe better than the
Texas
AAF.
loves their football.
Exactly. Washington D.C.
That's why everybody wants to put a league there.
Do you think that a Washington D.C. football team can be successful?
The Redskins are in
Yeah.
DC.
The Redskins had some success, but with their naming issues and everything, and how they suck and their front office is
Maybe
horrible.
that's
Can
a
I
good
just
thing for the
say-
XFL team, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
This
You
is-
come in and you take over.
Yeah, and it could continue that narrative. Granted, this doesn't really work anymore, but it can continue the XFL style nature of look, we're more American, and they could name the team like the Washington Generals or something. Make it super patriotic.
Their name
Be
is
like-
going to subtweet. Their name is going to be so passive aggressive towards the Redskins. It's going to be. I hope so.
I hope it's
Vince McMahon, don't you let me down, you heel.
I hope it's Patriots. I hope it's something cheesy like that.
God.
Like the Washington Patriots or
The Generals works.
Generals.
The Washington
Generals is okay.
Generals is good, but the one where the
You're
XFL,
welcome, XFL.
yeah, where the XFL
Where's
got
my
it right.
royalty check?
The 8th city, St. Louis. There it is. Maybe
St.
that's
Louis,
why the
yeah.
AAF didn't go there because the XFL already took it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm interested where
I feel
this
like
goes.
St. Louis would be a good spot for a football team.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
They still. I'm sure they miss having the Rams there, which I don't agree with moving the Rams.
You need a Midwest team, honestly.
well,
You need to win Middle America,
St.
as
Louis
we
is
learned
the
in our
gateway to the
election of 2016.
Gateway city,
Yeah, right.
They're the midway point of the United States.
people need to give up on LA. See, I don't understand why this is the 4th time we've tried an LA team.
There were people in LA that didn't know the Rams were in the Super Bowl.
Right. LA, you know what LA is great for? The Lakers and the Clippers. It's great. Their basketball
the
And
Clippers,
USC.
And
USC
USC.
football.
USC
USC
is their
football,
NFL
the
team.
Lakers,
USC and the
and
Lakers.
if it's been
maybe a little bit of the Clippers.
if it's been a very nice fall, the Dodgers. But that's it.
I would say the Dodgers. I forgot about the Dodgers. I would say the Dodgers are pretty popular.
More than the Angels. There always is a second fiddle in every, the Jets, the Nets, the Mets.
Yep.
Yeah.
They love their Ets.
Yeah, and they're a definite second. In LA, it's the same thing. The Clippers, the Angels.
Well, yeah, it's the Lakers and it's everything else. I would say USC is probably tied for the thing.
USC could easily be the most popular football team in the city. Maybe not anymore, but I mean, they loved it. Will Ferrell would lead them onto the field. Snoop Dogg was on the field.
Yeah.
They basically are.
They were
NFL.
celebrities.
They
yeah.
were the celebrity football team.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, even if think of the other team that was in LA, you think that Will Ferrell's going to be the sideline at a Raiders game? Oh, my goodness.
Well, just
no.
even I think it's even funnier too when it's UCLA, because UCLA is University of California, Los Angeles, and they're not LA's team. It's USC. Like
Right.
it doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's one I'm thinking that the XFL is not making a good choice with.
Going to LA.
Yeah, I
it's a
don't
very
think it's
fair
good.
weather city, sports wise. It's hard to get a serious foothold, and you're going there after these other football teams. You know, your draw is that it's spring football. What makes it different besides that?
Yeah, I don't think LA is.
It's
going to
be a lesser product. So why would they go watch a lesser product?
When they
That's
have
what you have to
two of
sell.
The best there is.
Right.
That's why I don't think any of these AAF or XFL should be in NFL cities. They should have tried to find as many they could that weren't.
I agree with you. I think that going. I think there's an exception with Dallas and Houston because, like we said, Texas loves football, so I think there's definitely a market there.
I think San Antonio
San
might have
Antonio's
been the
great-
best
But
of
I
the
think
three.
I think
San
they should have.
Antonio is they're talking about getting an NFL team, or they were, maybe not anymore, but they were thinking about teams moving to San Antonio.
But here's the issue with Texas, because you could go to San Antonio, but then you're going to run into, well, why should I root for an XFL team when we already have an AAF team?
Yeah,
It's playing at the same time. It'd be hard to
they shouldn't
make
be.
that
No,
decision.
the XFL and AAF should not be in the same city in any point.
No. Well, then what would your solution be? What other city would you go in Texas
Well, there's-
other than San Antonio? That's not Dallas or Houston or San Antonio. Where else are you going to go?
Oh, there might be. I mean, there's.
It's a massive state. I'm sure you could
Not-
find something.
Yeah, how big is the Allen area or Lubbock or College Station?
Well,
I don't
was
know.
thinking, why not? I mean, not that it's not the same, but I
Technically,
consider
Fort Worth.
Oklahoma City very much.
Oklahoma City.
Texas.
Yes, Oklahoma City is a city that should have got one of these. Louisville is a city of over 1 million people
I don't
that I
know,
think should have
not
got one of
Louisville.
these. Louisville can work as a pro sports city. I don't know why people think it can't. There's
They
over
have-
1 million
They
people.
have the Wildcats
It's the
in
same.
Lexington, which would be a lot of that fan base. I would think.
The problem with Louisville is it's the same situation why you can't put a professional team in Omaha. Like the college football team is such a big thing there.
I don't think Omaha could support
No, I don't think so either.
a football team. At
I
this
don't even
level.
think Des Moines could.
I don't think.
support
Well,
one.
Des Moines couldn't because from people say, "Oh, Des Moines, we should get one of these." Well, we don't have a stadium the size that we would need. Des Moines would have to build a stadium because Wells Fargo is too small for an actual football dome. It really is because Arena Football League's 50 yards. It's much smaller. They would what's the biggest stadium? Jack Trice is the closest thing to Des Moines, or what you play 2 years at Drake while they're building a stadium. I
I've never
mean,
even seen Drake's football field.
oh well, it's the blue oval, the track, and it's
Oh, okay. Well, what about the Grandview's football field? I don't know.
Grandview. Yeah, but I mean,
You
it's
got to be
it's-
careful. We're getting really local here.
Yeah, let's do it. Dive local, find it.
I think
The problem with Grandview is it comes down to the stands for an actual 100-yard football stadium. I know that they're not filling up the Legion Field at UAB, and they're not filling up the lower deck in Tempe for the hot shots.
well, here's the thing. I think
But you still can play it at Grandview. It's just not good optics if you want to put that on TV.
I think that
Not even a stadium. It's just two stands, I think.
Des Moines would work.
It's the same size as Valley, basically.
I think Des Moines could work, but you'd have to. The way we were mentioning, you got to pick the right stadium and the right situation. I think what worked for the Rams
That's why Alamo Dome is perfect.
was you go in. Have you ever been to St. Louis?
No.
Like when you come in off the
Why would I?
interstate, you look right over. It's like on an overpass. You look over. Right there was the dome. Right there was Busch Stadium. It was almost like KC and Arrowhead and the Royal Kauffman Stadium. They're right next to each other.
Yeah, all
They're
three
in a,
of them in St. Louis. The Ameritrade where the Blues play. And
Oh
Busch
yeah, yeah,
Stadium,
yeah.
They're all right
And
downtown.
They also
all
had
three of
the.
them were.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, the arena, the dome, and that were all right next to each other. So you'd have to find a way to. It'd have to be downtown. It would have to be like by Wells Fargo.
Oh yeah, it would have to be in a setting where that's the only way that these other semi-pro teams are successful is because Wells Fargo is connected to the Skywalk. It's right near everything. Des Moines is growing by leaps and bounds from a downtown like coolness standpoint.
So
where
you
you
have
would
to
be.
be in their big arena that were like the Iowa Wild and the Iowa.
Well, it'd have to be down by
Wolves,
Principal
but you
Park.
have to find a place to put that then if you're going to build a massive stadium.
And how big are
downtown,
the parking lots around these things? It really wouldn't work. It would have to be like almost in a suburb. Like you could eminent domain some land. Oh, I got it. Right. Okay. Outside of the Mixmaster,
on the west side?
No, the east Mixmaster, northeast corner, farmland between Ankeny and Altoona.
I was going to say between Ankeny and Des Moines
two very large growing communities. Des Moines Right's there. You're right on 3085. Or excuse me, 3580. That could work.
Such a ways though.
That's where the airport is.
Well, Levi Stadium's like an hour from anything called San Francisco.
That's true, but
this is Des Moines.
This
is Des Moines.
Santa
And
Clara is like a desert. Like I didn't even when I was watching the Champions League, I didn't realize how like there's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that's why they were like almost like begging people to like take tickets for free by like an hour before kickoff because they couldn't actually fill the stadium.
the Bucks had to do
Really?
that.
It was
The
two.
Buccaneers.
Yeah, it was two Southern teams, two southern.
on the far
that-
east side. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
that are
all out
when
west.
all the way on the
West
other side of the
Coast,
country.
and if the Pac's not in it, are you going to San Francisco? Like,
No.
yeah, I don't think it was a good location. It's an amazing stadium, but the stadium's location puts it in a bad spot for hosting events like that.
If you're going to be honest, you're better off putting something towards the middle or the eastern side of the map if you're going to do something like that, because college football isn't nearly as big in the West Coast as it is.
Maybe
Right.
they're probably trying to build college football out west because
Yeah.
or maybe
that could
would
be a
help.
tactic.
Build? What are you talking about? You're talking about the Conference of Champions, Brandon.
the Pac-12.
They're not good in any.
They're the
sports.
Conference of Champions.
We
They don't
gotta
even have a ranked
so
basketball
we
team in
kinda-
their entire conference.
To go totally off the rails here.
Yeah, we're completely off the rails. I
But
think,
we have to finish the off the rails conversation because for Des Moines, we got to do that though.
Oh.
What?
this
what
topic is pretty
semi-pro-
much, could Des Moines support a football team?
But what team could Des Moines support that is the highest level that's available? I think Des Moines could support an NBA team.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean professional sport?
Professional sports. So
like the
of
big
the big four.
Either hockey or NBA.
I would say NHL. I would say
either
because
hockey
of
or
the Wild.
basketball.
And obviously we're going as is because we just presented our idea of where a football stadium would go. Des Moines just can't do an NFL team. That's off the table right now.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe an AAF team.
with how like fiscally conservative and red Iowa is right now, honestly, there is no way that we would get the 15 to 30% of crowd-funded taxpayer money that it takes to build stadiums
Right.
these days.
We hate our taxes
Yeah,
here.
yeah, absolutely. What's the state motto, dude? It's libertarian. That's a different podcast.
You've been living in Iowa your whole life. I haven't. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the thing is. I think going way back before this completely got derailed, going way back to the Texas question.
hmm
What about like Waco, or like a Lubbock or College Station? Like you said, like smaller market where these college teams. play.
We're gonna circle into a loop here, but I think that what I hear you saying is find the mid-sized city that will give you the college sports style atmosphere,
Mhm.
and if you're looking at a Texas city, I think the best one, and this is
Austin.
I was gonna say Oklahoma City, man.
I was-
the
Oklahoma
region,
City.
I think-
and
I
you're
think
looking,
it'd
and I
be
think
the right
looking at
choice.
Texas
Oklahoma
is
and Texas are like the same to me.
it really
And
is.
you could
It really
even-
is a region,
you
and
could-
everybody from Texas is turning us off
But-
right now.
But you could. I know Oklahoma's not
They
Texas.
hate Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I know. They're not the
dare you.
same.
Sir, how dare you? That's
call
like
the entire
Iowa,
Midwest-
Nebraska, dude.
People call Iowa the entire Midwest. They have no idea. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
I understand that we
Well-
just did the same thing of lumping Iowa and Nebraska.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It's so much.
But I think Oklahoma City would be better than any available Texas city.
That's the most
Yeah.
annoying thing.
They have really, think of the Thunder as a job interview for the city and a fandom and what they could do. Flying colors past that test. They are rabid. They love the team. They basically
It's all they have. I've
they
been
had-
through Oklahoma
they had
City. It's
Kevin-
garbage.
They had Kevin Durant. restaurant like shut down after he left because nobody went there.
Really?
I love it.
That is cool.
I love it. Yeah,
Dude,
own it.
There is nothing but pawn shops in Oklahoma City. I swear to God. I was going to WrestleMania.
I think you're talking of the time you were at Raymond James Stadium and the area around there.
Okay, sir. All right. I've never actually been to a Buccaneers home game. I was at a Rays game, but the one time I saw the Buccaneers is when they were playing Kansas City. Because when you live in the Midwest and you like a team that isn't the Chiefs, that's the one time you can watch them play is if they play the Chiefs.
Definitely. I've been to a Packer game at Arrowhead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Never been to an NFL game of any.
It's fun.
Brandon, we'll go. We'll figure it out.
I was gonna go to the Dolphins Packers game this year, but it ended up getting.
So what I would do,
couldn't go. But
tangent. We'll come back. We'll loop it to the NFL here. But what I would do first is I would find a non-Packer stadium to go to a Packer game soon because it's going to be less expensive than Lambeau and it's going to be a good experience and you're going to get to watch your team. I would go to US Bank in Minnesota because that stadium looks so cool and so beautiful.
If you guys do that, let me know. I want to go.
And I do want to go to Soldier Field because I've never been to Soldier Field. So if you want to go to Soldier Field,
it'd be cool.
Let me know because
I drove past it once, but
I think that
I've
it
never
would
been
be
to
fun.
Chicago.
I've never been to.
I've been there twice.
I've never been to Minnesota either.
I have been to O'Hare Airport multiple times, but
Minneapolis.
I've never been like to the city of Chicago. I've just like used it as a flyover. Minneapolis is super fun, dude.
I've been to Minneapolis only once.
Shout out Minneapolis and Kansas City as my fun Midwest cities of choice.
I love
Dome.
KC, man.
Yeah, dude.
I went to the Dome for a baseball game one time in Minneapolis.
Oh, the Metrodome.
Don't go to the Dome.
Okay.
I guess you can't anymore, but that was a terrible place.
Dude, I went to two
place
Red
go.
Sox games. Okay, so
In the
when
Dome?
for like the 3 years of middle school that I decided I was a baseball fan. True story.
Do you even have baseball talk today?
No baseball talk. There's no updates. Besides this is the baseball talk. I went to 2 Red Sox games at the Metrodome because my dad was like, all right, I'll take my son to a baseball game. He likes the Red Sox. It was the worst thing in the world. I saw Big Papi hit a baseball so high that it hit the speakers on the top of the stadium and fell down, and it was not counted in any outdoor stadium. It would have been a home run, but it was not a home run because of how the stadium was set up for baseball.
Same thing. I hate domes for baseball. Tampa Bay is the worst stadium in the MLB. It's so bad. The dome is terrible, and there's a huge catwalk like in the right field. Like lots of people hit that.
No, trust me. That is the only other MLB stadium I've been to outside of Kauffman, and Kauffman blows this away by a mile.
I've been to Kauffman. Kauffman is really
a
nice.
wonderful stadium, and
Thank God snow fell into the Metrodome, man, because like.
But seriously, the Rays
Football seats as your outfield wall does not look good.
No, seriously, the Tampa Bay Tropicana field is stupid. I understand why it's there because it rains a lot in Tampa, but it's like, what the hell are we doing playing baseball in a dome? Oh, I hit a home run off the ceiling.
Yeah,
like
both of the new stadiums in Minneapolis are so much better.
Unless
than
unless it is specifically set up for baseball, because if I'm correct, I think the Astrodome was set up so that it could hold a baseball game better.
Maybe because the Astrodome is huge.
Yeah,
way bigger than
they've played football games in there. That's what.
Yeah, I know. I've watched Friday Night Lights.
Do you remember
exactly?
Do you remember?
That's my only exactly. That's my reference point for the inside of.
Do you remember
the
the NCAA Final Four that was in the Astrodome?
No.
Or I think it was the Astrodome. The stands were like you could barely see the court because it was so far away. Like us to this.
To the board, yeah.
But it's not where
was so small compared to where the stands were.
It's not where the Texans play though. So it has to be a little smaller than an NFL regulation or what
University
you would need,
of Houston.
What you need for an NFL.
Play where the Cougars play.
No.
They got a pretty good sized fan base.
Well, they probably all
I'm
stadiums
sorry,
are a little bigger in Texas.
But I just assume that every single city in the state of Texas just has a giant football field lying around.
High school football.
Well, it's like college football.
And they have stadiums.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Friday Night Lights.
Odessa, Texas is basically like what I think of every Texas town. Like
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, that
probably even worse than like the bigger cities because there's so many other schools.
I don't like driving through Texas because they're very aggressive on the highways.
I've been to Texas one
really
time.
Bad.
80-mile-an-hour speed limit.
No,
that was,
it's really bad. And
Dallas.
everybody's still flying by you, looking at you, and I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm just like
just had-
trying to get down to Arizona.
I just had traffic jams the whole time.
Traffic jam.
Dallas was awful.
Oh. Okay.
That's where Mania was in Dallas and Fort Worth, and it was at AT&T Stadium, which...
Did you go to that?
Yeah, I went to that.
That's so cool, dude.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I got too drunk. That's the problem. We tailgated, and I drank way too much alcohol. And
Tailgated for WrestleMania.
oh, you bet your ass I tailgated for WrestleMania. And it was really funny because it was just three guys that we all used to work together, and I went on a whim, or not on a whim, on like a last second thing, because I was just hanging out, and he was actually my boss when I worked with him, but he's like, "Hey, dude, I got an extra ticket. Do you want to go to WrestleMania?"
Wow.
And that was the fastest I've ever responded to a text, being like, "Hell yeah, I want to go to WrestleMania."
Boom. Yeah, that was like me having my friend's dad said, "Hey, my dad's sick. I have an extra ticket to Lambeau next weekend." Oh, I'm there. Hello.
If it was that day,
I got the gas. I got the gas.
What was even funnier? It was like one of the worst WrestleManias ever, but it was a lot of fun just being there, because that's like, being a wrestling fan from being a kid, that's a bucket list thing for me, and I got to cross it off. But yeah, Dallas. There's so many. That's the thing where I think Dallas could work, because there's a ton of. It's like here in Des Moines, there's a ton of little towns and cities inside of Dallas and Fort Worth.
Right.
So I think it could be possible.
But I don't think that. I think Jerry's price for renting within that stadium would be way too
Oh
high.
no, they're never gonna
You
get
can't use
AT&T.
AT&T.
No way. Maybe they'll play where TCU plays.
Yeah.
Say there's multiple.
That's technically Fort Worth.
Well,
Dallas Fort Worth area.
And I've heard that
Fort
they're
Worth
very
is-
serious about
Fort
that
Worth
as
is
well.
Arlington. The Dallas is in Arlington, so it's not.
Oh, it
even in
is
Dallas
right.
either.
It's in Arlington.
Yeah.
And it's in the spring, so you're not competing with the Cowboys, because you're not going to be able to compete with them.
But I still think that's not realistic, just because of who's in charge of Cowboy Stadium.
This topic
you know?
went a lot longer than I anticipated.
Right. So, and we're back to NFL.